is going live time. How about that? It's live. All right. Well, we still got some final tweaks and whatnot to do, which is the little 5-minute intro, so we can watch the countdown clock to know exactly when we're due. You tune into this later on YouTube, so I'll just skip ahead until the timer counts down to 0. Unless you like listening to some good music and my bad singing, which is always entertaining for most people. It's even more entertaining after I've had a beer or two at the karaoke club.
Still got to go do that with you.
You're so in it. You're so much fun, my darling daughter.
Oh, trust me, I'm filming it.
All right. Well, then let's get this up and going and double check the dials and pegs. Make sure they're all stiff up and ready. And you get to enjoy a little bit of music to carry us up to live time. Backup recorder, fired up. Off we go. Oh yeah.
Don't claim to know your story, don't even have my own. In the search for glory, gone with them sacred rules of old. They went missing down Highway 49. Devil's at the crossroads, sitting doing time. Preacher man discovered, passed down from saint to sage, like a kind-hearted lover who's been lost on this stage. Went missing down Highway 49. Devil's at the crossroads, sitting doing time. Come on now. Not saying they're right or wrong. I ain't no Texan dancer, Lord moves me right along. Went missing down Highway 49. Devil's at the crossroads, sitting doing time. Chucky and the Chigger just seen who done the crime. Captain pulled the trigger, guess who's doing time? They went missing down Highway 49. Devil's at the crossroads, is he yours or is he mine?
Definitely mine.
Search for glory, gone with them sacred rules of old. Went missing down Highway 49. Wow, yeah. Wow. Devil's at the crossroads, sitting doing time. Devil's at a crossroads, Joker's doing fine. Just sitting doing time.
For you. Alrighty, well that brings us right down to the wrap and time to take this show live and wind this puppy up and bring up WP Plugins A to Z for everyone. So anyone out there, you got any questions, feel free to dump them into the comment section, either before or after. If you happen to watch live, we like them live. If not, you happen to watch it later, put some comments in the comment section below. All right, let's take this puppy live. Off we go. Out of the Abyss. It's episode 477 with plugins for cooking enthusiasts, post layouts, private videos, maintenance mode, Overlord tracking, and Banishment to the Abyss. And ClassicPress options, all coming up on WordPress Plugins from A to Z. WordPress. It's the most popular content management and website solution on the internet. And with over 80,000 plugins to choose from, how do you separate the junk from the gems? Join us for a weekly, unrehearsed conversation about the latest and greatest in WordPress plugins. This is WordPress Plugins from A to Z. Well, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you happen to be hiding out there on the globe today. Coming to you direct from the Brewery Overlook in beautiful Victoria, British Columbia. I'm John Overall, and with me is...
Amber Overall.
And we have the usual great show for you today, but of course, right off the top, don't forget, this show sends out great appreciation to the No Agenda Show and for the occasional stolen sound clip.
Squirrel!
Tripping over my tongue again. All right. And so thank you very much. Their inspiration has been great. And this is a value for value show, and I look forward to everyone providing some value back. Okay, first off, this is number 36 of 51 episodes for 2020. It's episode 477, and we might be starting to see the edge of the abyss as we climb back out into the light. We are now 37 weeks into 2020 with 26 weeks of the Rona, and the narrative is showing cracks and breaking up. It's breaking down. Masks, although, are still the rage. I'm sure you have one. If it's not, stuffed in your back pocket, keep it ready to go. It's going to be as dirty and useful as, you know, that hanky you keep in your other pocket. And just think, if you get desperate, you can always use that mask for TP. School is upon us, and I'm really happy to see that my human resources have gone back to school. I couldn't be happier to get them back off to school, although it's been entertaining listening to what they've heard and their teachers have been talking about in the first week of school. Go listen to No Agenda Show. You'll hear all kinds of stuff that just covers that. So I got to keep educating them. You know, the learning pods are basically the learning pods. But even with the crazy I've been hearing back, it's all good. The narrative, though, from the media seems to be breaking down due to some bad code in the Matrix. Something is definitely slipping in the Matrix. People are waking up. It's time to get prepared. The new programming that was close to completion, but something has slipped, and seems like there's definitely a bad line of code. The M5M is finding it harder and harder to keep the population scared as they begin to change focus from scaring you with the Rona to starting to scare you back with climate change. I mean, after all, that's what they're blaming all the fires in Southern California on, and Washington State. It's all climate change, right? Don't you know? Well, WP Plugins is here to lift your soul. Now's the time to find yourself an oasis like the one over at theroguestavern.com, someplace where you can check out from the world and unplug from all the computer devices. You know, you'll need to do that from time to time, but in the meantime, listen to WP Plugins A to Z, where we can help you by recommending you minimize or eliminate your M5M exposure. Stop using face crack. That is something that I've been working on for the last several weeks. I've managed to almost break my face crack habit permanently. Work on your own little part of the world and make it a better place to be. Inspire others around you to do the same. Don't worry about the things you cannot control. Stop accepting and doing the things that are not in your best interest, and work in your best interest while at the same time respecting and helping others. The rewards for that will follow. All right. Well, let's move it along.
Watch it, burn it, leave it, tough on that.
iPhone, schmyphone. The way I see it, the only good phone's a landline, and the phone should be made out of Bakelite.
That's right, everybody. Time for tech news. John, do we have tech news?
Oh, absolutely. We do have tech news. And right out the gate, first thing we have for you is there is a WordPress flaw that allows hackers to forge emails. And this comes from threatpost.com. And this is a flaw that impacts more than 100,000 WordPress website users. The vulnerability that exists in the email subscriber and newsletter plugin by Icegram. So if you happen to be using that, I'm not using it myself, but the flaw allows people to fake some emails through that, and you'll want to take care of it. You'll want to check this article out as soon as possible. If not, make sure that your plugin has been brought up to date.
I completely missed that one when I was looking through the news, so I actually haven't had a chance to read it yet.
Well, there you go. That's all right. One to check out. Next article up I've got for you here is podcasting during the pandemic sees a 300% growth in new podcasts. Well, that's too bad because I really enjoyed my little niche of the market and not having a lot of competition. You know, after all, I've been doing this podcast for, 10 years, almost 11 years now. And, well, it's a shame, but it's a good thing. Podcasts are a good thing. It's nice to see lots and lots of new people into it. It's just a shame I have to work harder to compete. Anyway, it's a good article. It's lots of interesting tidbits of what's happening in the podcast industry.
I find it interesting that making podcasts has gone up, but listening has gone down 20%.
Really?
Yeah.
Did they say listening gone down? Oh,
In the U.S., it's gone down 20%,
Oh.
mostly due to people don't drive anywhere anymore, and
that would be it.
that is when people mostly listen to their podcasts was
Yeah.
on their commute. So
Podcasts were a major part of community. Yeah, I've actually cut back my podcast listening, but and I generally listen when I'm out working at the Oasis and just doing things. That's the only time I'm really listening. I sort of listen to them at home, but it's hard. Sometimes you really want to focus and catch what they're saying. Okay, the next one here is a Tips Tuesday article from Blogaid. And in particular, there's a segment in here that I wanted to point out. And the segment was talking about moving to PHP 7.4. She has a lot of really good tips in here. If you don't subscribe to Anna at Blogaid, you might want to. She puts out a lot of really good information and tips. And even her courses are pretty good. I'm subscribed to a couple of them just to help keep me ahead because she does so much more research than I do, and it's great to catch it up. But what she's talking about is it's time to be moving to PHP 7.4. If you've been able to move your website to WordPress 5.5.1, then you should be able to go to 7.4. If you can't go to 7.4, it's because you got a plugin that's faulty and you'll want to get it fixed. 7.4 is the latest and greatest of PHP, and 7.12, 7.2 and down are going to be disused. Like if you're still on 5.6, you're in ancient territory. That one's been abandoned, no longer getting updates. 7.1 are sort of there, but they're getting abandoned too. So you'll need to get moving forward. So read this out. Follow her articles in here. She's got some tutorials on how to upgrade and other things in there that can be of great use for you.
I really like her tutorials. They've definitely helped me to figure things out so far.
Yeah, she's really great. And somewhere back in the history, I've got interviews with Anna and appeared on a couple of her shows back in the past. So, really good person. Okay, next thing we got here is an article from the Hacker News. ZenScrape, a simple web scraping solution for penetration testers. If you're doing pen testing, or really what the web scraping's for is for, you found a really cool website that's got a lot of information, but you're afraid it's going to disappear. You want to scrape all that information to your local computer so you can have a local archive of it. This is a good article to tell you about how to go about getting that accomplished. It's like I don't do penetration testing, but I do a lot of web scraping, especially when I see a website that's got a lot of information that I want to preserve for my own future use.
So this does the scraping, like do all of them do scraping as well as the penetration? tester.
Well, no, not all pen testers do scraping. Penetration testers are there to determine how your security of your website. See if they can penetrate the security of your website.
And this one does both?
Well, no, this is a description of how to set up a program to do web scraping. And they're suggesting that it's a good solution for penetration testers who are doing web scraping.
Oh, okay. Now I'm better understanding this. Neat.
Okay, the next item we've got here for you is if you use OEmbed endpoints for embeddable Facebook content, it's being turfed to the bin. Starting October 24th, it is no longer going to function. And what this is going to do, and a lot of people aren't fully aware of this yet, it's going to break a lot of old plugins, much the same way that Instagram broke a lot of plugins about a month ago when they changed their API system. And this is an API change, and there's going to be a lot of old plugins that are going to break. Authors that aren't bothering to update their plugins, or somebody's using an old plugin and you've been using OEmbed endpoints for embeddable Facebook content. Basically, Facebook's making it harder to share their content, and you'll have to do some updating. So you might want to dig into this article to see what's up and see if you're going to be impacted by that. And mainly it means if you've been embedding Facebook content on your website, this is something you got to pay attention to.
That seems interesting, but I didn't even know that you could embed Facebook information into your website.
Yep. There was ways to do it. Lots of old ways, but looks like Facebook's going to kill them, which is usual. Next one is from WP Shout. How to create a WordPress theme from scratch. Now, this is an article you may or may want to do it. I don't do WordPress themes from scratch. I've tried it a couple of times. It was never my forte, but some people like to. I mean, you can, if you build a WordPress website or theme from scratch, you can do a lot with a website, but it is a custom theme. And if you leave that site, or the developer or the owners of the site no longer want your services, and a new developer picks it up, he could be in a world of hurt picking up after your custom developments. Not your problem, I understand, but this is the way it works. Anyway, it's a really good article talking to you about using customized developments for a theme on WordPress. Now, the one thing's that interesting is there are tidbits in here that could be used if you're building a theme through Elementor or something, understanding the CSS and the little extra PHP coding you might use when you're working with Elementor or PHP or some other theme builder plugin.
I'm actually really excited about this one. I'm totally going to give this a go. Just doing this, I think, would teach you a lot.
You learn a lot about the functionality of WordPress and the themes and everything else by building out a theme. You learn a lot. Even if you don't do it, you'll learn a lot about how the other themes work. Okay, the final piece we have here for you today is 4 developer tips for marketing to new e-commerce businesses in a pandemic. Now, I guess we're in a pandemic still. Technically. At any rate, there's been a lot of things in here. Like I've mentioned many times in my opening, there's lots of opportunities for businesses here in this lockdown. Everybody working from home, more people ordering stuff from home, many people not traveling as much. They're spending so much more time in front of their computers and everything else. This is a really good article to help you do some e-commerce website marketing for your e-commerce website. You could use it for email marketing, niches that you might not have thought about. Maybe you've got something you're really good at and you can create an e-course for. This article can help you get some insights onto how to market all that information.
Following through all this, you can also use the information you get on here to help your clients if you're a developer too.
There's the other advantage. Help your clients out. Okay, well, that pretty much wraps up all the news we've got. That is good and bad this week. Let's move it on to talk about the show producers. This show does not work without you, the listeners and the producers of the show. We don't make this show just for us. I mean, sure, I make it partly for myself, but I make it more for you guys, the listeners. And it's a value for value model, meaning that if you're getting any value out of it, does it save you 5 minutes of time? What is that worth to you? Is it worth $5 to you? Is it worth sending us an email with more information? Is it worth helping out the show in some way? Is it worth contributing artwork? What is it worth to you with the information we provide, saving you time and I don't know the other word that goes with that. Time and something savings. Saving you lots of time and leading you towards plugins that might help you out. At any rate, what we'd like from you, of course, is always...
We just need cash. I know a lot of people want to send blankets or water. Just send your cash.
Absolutely. Cash is always useful. It helps offset the costs of the server, the hosting, the bandwidth, all of that sort of things. But in lieu of cash, we like to acknowledge the producers who have supported this show in various ways over the week. This week's show art comes from Angel Lemieux. That's the first thing I like to talk about. We got a really cool praying mantis piece of artwork here. Praying mantis looks like he's crawling out of an abyss to see the light for the first time. It's a really cool piece of artwork, and if you're watching the show over at YouTube, you'll actually see the preview of the artwork before it goes live later in the day when the show is all published up. But thanks again to Angel Lemieux over at Koa Digital, who has supplied us with a whole ton of artwork. But if you'd like to dethrone Angel from the king spot, please submit some artwork over at the WP Plugins A-to-Z.com/art generator, where you can submit the artwork that we can use. It's got all the information you need on that page. Download our logos to integrate into the artwork. Everything you need. So thanks again, Angel. We also like to acknowledge the executive producers of the show, and those are anyone who comes in $50 or more, and they get a note read out. And this week, unfortunately, we don't have any, but we would really like to see some. And I'm throwing it out there. Anyone who would like to see Amber on camera along with me for the live show, kick us a $50 donation. I'll go through the effort to get an extra camera set up, organized, and displaying her lovely mug for everyone to see. So that's my challenge to all you listeners out there, all you producers. A big thank you, though, to those who've hired me because of the show. Great thanks for all of that. That is as good as donating to the show. And for those that have donated small amounts that are well under the $50 mark, thank you very much. They don't put any money in my pocket, but they do minorly help offset the costs of the show. So again, to support the show, you can go donate money at WP Plugins, A-to-Z.com/donate, or the art generator, links in the show notes, or you can submit articles, news, information, or plugin suggestions. All the links are in the show notes for that stuff there. Okay, let's move it along then to what everyone really shows up to this show for. All right, it is time to talk about the plugins. And first off, we have plugins for ClassicPress. Well, nothing really for ClassicPress. Again, another week where I haven't had any time to do anything for ClassicPress. I really need some people to kick some stuff to me for ClassicPress so I can get it out there. At the moment, all I've got is the usual for ClassicPress, the usual links, ClassicPress Club, their forums, Code Potent's website, etc. And I hear they're moving forward quite well, but I haven't had time to spend over at that. Let's move it along then to the WordPress plugins. And what I've got... choking. What I've got for you this week, the first one I've got, is called Content Views, Post Grid, and Filter for WordPress. Now, this one here is a plugin that's been kept up to date, but it's not always one you need, especially with if you happen to be using Gutenberg or some other theming system such as Elementor, which allows you to create grid posts quite easily. This one here works well, though, if you're using, say, the 2020 theme or some other third-party theme that doesn't have Gutenberg integrated into it to create the grid posts. It's a really great looking plugin. This was discovered while I was working on another client site that is older, and we're not moving them to Gutenberg or anything else. And this is used to display out the posts in a nice grid pattern, and it creates multiple style of grids. You use squares or or columns or sliders. It does a really good job of displaying the content based upon the choices you made. Decent plugin, works very well, and they do have a premium version which gives you more extensions on it. So in lieu of all that, we're going to give this one a 4 dragon rating. Go check it out. Content views, post grid, and filter for WordPress.
And the first one I got is WP Recipe Maker. It's a neat little plugin. It gives you the ability to set out your recipes in an easy to follow ingredients list and directions, and it's pretty cool. It's really awesome if you're a foodie or if you run a recipe site. They give you so many options in the free version. I found my eyes glazing over with all the options. And honestly, though, I think for people who do this on a regular basis, it's probably just a playground. You can personalize the theme. You can personalize how it looks inside of the theme. There's so many things you can do. There are more options with the Pro version. So there is a Pro version on this. It's very easy to use if you're using an Elementor, Gutenberg, ClassicPress, or WordPress theme. They just create a little widget and throw it into your widget area for you. For everyone else, they give you a shortcode to use. You create your recipes in the plugin and then upload whichever recipe you are wanting, either through the widget or with the shortcode, and put it on your post. It's a pretty awesome little plugin, and unfortunately, due to the upgrade, I'm only going to rate it 4.
Alrighty, well that one does look interesting. Too bad I've already chosen my recipe plugin for my website. Okay, the next one I have for you here is called Simple Private Video. Now, what this one's for is if you're creating online courses that you provide videos for, or you're providing private videos for whatever, I don't judge. Your videos can be your videos, whatever they are. And you want to keep them private and keep people from getting to them unless they've paid the appropriate fee to gain access to your membership section of your website. It's really hard to do with things such as uploading to YouTube and etc. Now, the drawback comes is you have to upload these websites to your hosting provider, who may not provide you with the space or the bandwidth necessary to do that. Because video, let's face it, is huge. Sucks up tons of space and bandwidth when it's being delivered back to the users. But what this one does for you is it allows you to upload them to your website, keep them in a secured location that can't be picked out by robots or search bots or Google or the users who sign into your website. They can't grab a direct link to it and then share it with their buddies. That must always be viewed by logging into their account on the website. Now, of course, they could record it on their computer, which is a whole different problem, but that's neither here nor there. This is a way to protect them to the best of your ability. So it is a decent plugin. It does appear to work very well for everything that it does. But again, you're just dealing with the fact of you may have to get your own server with lots and lots of storage space and bandwidth to be able to deliver the videos in a timely manner for people. All in all, something you may want to check out if you're looking to protect your videos. Go check it out. It's Simple Private Video, and I give it a 4 dragon rating.
And the next one I've got is Smartlook Visitor Recording. So this plugin is really awesome, but since I'm still new to this world, when I saw this plugin, it kind of honestly gave me a bit of creeps. The information gathered through this plugin is where the visitor is where the visitor is from in geotag form, which device they are using, where the visitor spends most of their time on your site, where broken buttons are, what they ignored, etc. Everything that you could possibly need to know about your site and what they do on your site. It could be very useful and seems like it would be pretty awesome to have that information. But then there's the watching bit, which kind of is the bit that really creeps me out. You can literally watch recordings of every person visiting your site in what the creators playfully call geeky Netflix binge watching. The information gathered on this site could be given without the video. and without such a specific geolocation. That's my opinion. I'm not entirely sure because, well, like I said, I'm still pretty new to this whole world. So the information that you can get through this is really awesome, and it is a totally free plugin. It's also easy to install as well. You do, however, need to make an account with them in order to use it, which I've never liked. If you
means they're tracking you.
Yeah, exactly. So if you need the information, then this plugin could work really awesome as long as you don't mind making an account. But I brought it down because you have to make an account to use it, and I also brought down another half point because it kind of creeps me out. So 3.5 dragons.
Yeah, well, the thing is that these ones here, these analytics and tracking plugins, they've been around a while. I've reviewed several of them over the years. They've never been really good, especially when it hit the heat map because it used a lot of resources. Maybe improved now. And if you're looking to do some serious tracking, this looks like something that could be. But remember, when you got to create an account somewhere and they don't charge you money, you're their product. So your clients are your product, and your client's information and you are their product. So keep that in mind when you do these things.
Yeah, but do they really have to have the video?
Absolutely.
Why?
You must. Because then you can take it, put it back in your website, and protect it with the protection plugin we just talked about, and you can have videos to watch later. All right. Well, let's roll this one right along. The next one I've got for you here is called Simply Maintenance. There's a lot of maintenance plugins out there at WordPress in the repository, and I'm always trying the new ones just because, I don't know, I just like to try different ones to see how they work and see what they offer up, see if they're easier to use than the ones I constantly fall back on. And maintenance plugins are something you will use from time to time or a lot, depending on what you do. I use maintenance plugins a lot when I build out dev sites or when I build out practice sites for my client or sites that they can goof, and they're on a live server, so you need to protect that website from the general internet, keep bots from coming in and possibly indexing it, etc. This is a really nice maintenance plugin in that it does all that and it blocks all that. It even puts a 503 service temporarily unavailable error in there for people. And it does one of the main things I've needed from maintenance plugins through WordPress, etc., is that you want an easy way for your client to be able to log in when they hit their website, and this one offers that by putting a login box right there on the maintenance page. It allows you to create images, choose your images, give it a custom look and design and feel. The usual stuff for most maintenance plugins. On the whole, I found this one to work very well. Go check it out. It's simply called Maintenance, and I give it a 4-dragon rating.
They should really work on making the short names like that. I like that name. It
yeah,
works well.
But only one person gets to use a name that short.
Oh, fair enough.
There's dozens of maintenance plugins. These guys must have been first to the fold with the name.
So the last one I've got is Blackhole for bad bots. I like that.
Black coal?
Black hole.
Oh, okay.
It's black hole. I
Black
like
hole.
it.
Black hole for bad bots.
Yeah.
Banish them to the freaking abyss.
Absolutely. So this is a plugin that what it does is it sets up this trigger link at the footer of your page that forbids all bots from following the link on your page.
No service for you!
And once the bots disobey the rule, they fall into the black hole trap and have no more access to your site. They get one chance to obey the rule of don't go in here. And if they don't, they never get access to your site again. That's the whole idea of this.
Warning, unlawful content.
The plugin is kept well updated, and it doesn't create any cookies on your site either. It's pretty awesome. They give you everything that you need in the free version. It does have a pro version. I couldn't really get much information on what's different in the pro version. Seems like this could just be used as is for exactly what you need it for without any need for the pro version. So because it seems like you don't need the pro version, I rated it 5 dragons.
Absolutely. Sounds like a cool one. And of course, with the problem with bots in the world today, this is something you might want to consider putting on your website just to help banish them to the abyss and keep them out of your site. Okay, well, this show is currently brought to you by...
Are you tired of the same old web hosting? Not having the resources you need to run your website properly? Having a lack of control? Then you need johnoverall.com web hosting, providing you with all the resources you need to smoothly run your WordPress website or ClassicPress website. With strict limits on the number of clients allowed per server, johnoverall.com provides high-quality, fast server performance. Visit johnoverall.com for web hosting that won't slow you down.
Absolutely. And remember, it is limited accounts available. I don't just let anyone onto my servers. I must talk to you and vet you and make sure you're a good quality fit for hosting at johnoverall.com. So reach out to me and we can get you hosting that won't slow you down and you'll be in fantastic shape. Most of my hosting clients have been with me for 5 to 20 years. I've been doing this now. Actually, this is my 21st year as a web host provider. All right. And that wraps most everything up. We don't have any listener feedback. It's been a while since anyone said something to us, so I'm going to assume no one's listening to the show anymore. And, well, we got no questions, so everyone figures that we're doing everything perfect. I love it when I'm doing everything perfect and without any flaws. Contests, we don't have any contests right now. We haven't had time to do it. I've been begging you guys for a couple of weeks for someone to come give me a hand with that, but that hasn't appeared, so we're going to have to get around to it. And right now, my workload is just too much at the moment to be able to deal with it. But we will get a contest up here as soon as we can. Closing out this episode, I covered up the following plugins. I covered up content views and post grid and filter for WordPress, which I gave a 4 to. The simple private video, which I gave a 4 to. And maintenance, which I gave a 4 to.
And I covered WP Recipe Maker, which I gave a 4 to. Smartlook Visitor Recording, which I gave a 3.5 to, and Blackhole for Bad Bots, which I gave a 5 to.
All right, and before we run out the window here, Hemdian has a nice little question here in the chat window. It's, does maintenance play nice with WPS hide login? I honestly can't answer that because I don't use WPS hide login, and maintenance I've used it on a couple of sites that I was working on this last week and it worked very well. I imagine it probably does, but because of the fact when it creates the little login window, it bypasses the necessity of going to the login page. It just creates the login block, which is internal versus being inside. The best way to find out would be to test it, though. Okay, that really wraps it all up. A couple of quick reminders is there are no meetups planned at the moment. I thought I might do one in September, but that didn't come to fruition. I'm going to see if I can shoot for one in October. It looks like more and more restaurants and pubs are allowing people to get together and have a group of upper 6 or so. We may do that. I still have the room that I'd rented out. Depending on whether or not the province of BC lightens its load and allows us to meet in groups again without much hassle, I may get that. I've still got several reservations there they owe me for from last year that got canceled. So we'll see what happens. This is just, pay attention to the newsletter, the meetup at WP Plugins, A2Z.com/meetup, our meetup board, since we got rid of meetup.com. I'm tired of paying for something that wasn't valuable. And if you'd like to be in an interview show, doesn't matter whether you're a developer or not, you just want to talk plugins, hey, let me know. I'll get you on an interview show and we'll share your thoughts with the world. You want to find more about my craziness and what I'm planning to do with my life over the next few years? Check me out at theroguestavern.com. And of course, I want to reiterate one more time, if anyone kicks in a donation of $50 or more, I'll go through the effort to set up a camera and get Amber up on here on screen so you can watch her mug live on the YouTube channel.
Yeah, thanks for the forewarning on that, by the way.
Yeah, well, I'm always happy to volunteer you for stuff. That's the joy of being my child. You get volunteered for everything.
No, voluntold, man. I don't get an option in this.
Like I said, volunteered. All right, well, that's all we got for you, and we're going to let it wrap here. I'm going to enjoy my tequila shot, and let my girl take us on out of here.
Reminders for the show. All show notes can be found at wppluginsa2z.com.
Good
and while you're
tequila.
there, subscribe to the newsletter for more useful information delivered directly to your inbox. WP Plugins A to Z is a show that offers honest and unbiased reviews of plugins created by developers because you support the show. Help keep the show honest and unbiased by going to wppluginsa2z.com/donate and set the donation level that fits your budget. Help us make the show better for you by subscribing and reviewing the show at Stitcher Radio, Google Play, and in the iTunes Store. You can also leave us a review on our Facebook page using wppluginsa2z.com/Facebook. You can also watch the show live on YouTube, check out the screencasts and training videos, and remember to subscribe and hit the bell to get notifications of all new videos. Follow the show on Twitter at WPPluginsA2Z. John can also be reached at his website, johnoverall.com, or email him directly, john@wppro.ca. Thanks for joining us and have a great day.
Thanks for listening to the show. This show is copyright by johnoverall.com. So until next time, have yourselves a good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you happen to be out there on the globe today.
I just love that laugh. It is so adorably creepy. Came from my, at that time, 3-year-old son who had stolen my microphone. And it was actually about 2 weeks before the show first aired. And I was testing everything, all my equipment, making sure it was working, doing test recordings, practicing the show, and had the microphone. He come over, grabbed my microphone, and did that while I was recording. And it has been the end of show ever since day one. And he's now 13 years old, so over 10 years now. All right, well, we'll let this all go. No further questions today. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in, and I look forward to next week. Have yourselves a good one. Take care now. Bye-bye.
Take care.